welcome to Oops All Segments, the very best podcast hitting your eardrums at this very moment. I'm Kevin.
I'm Thomas, and today we are making good on a promise for the first time in our podcast history. Last episode, Corey Wojcik pulled our hair, held our heads underwater, and demanded that our next guest be none other than the very funny Davide Montebruno, and we have acquired him. Welcome to the show, Davide.
Surprise, oh, thank you so much, guys. And yes, I'm of your own free will. Having me here is a real blessing to me. I just wanted to say that any of the views that I expressed during this recording do not reflect my own opinions. I just want to make that clear before we get started.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's good. Now you sort of can't be held accountable for anything you say.
This is the opposite day clause. I've gotten out of many trials under this one that I only say things I don't mean.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I try to open every meeting that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And as far as I understand it, the opposite day clause is also the name of the fourth sequel in the Santa Claus series.
Oh, yes. So good. He turns into the opposite of Santa Claus, a skinny Jew.
That Thomas is
I'm
Jesus
Jewish,
Christ.
just to be clear.
Tell him you're Jewish.
I am Jewish. I figured you could tell.
You can't just start. We're not even. We're less than 2 minutes in, and we've already put ourselves anti-Semitic foot in our mouths.
I had to get more specific with your movie idea somehow. What am I supposed to do? Also, it wasn't anti-Semitic necessarily. What was hateful about that?
If I had said that Santa Claus was a skinny Jew, how would you have felt? The opposite of a kind, giving man. What's the opposite of a polar bear?
Probably a black bear.
Wow.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Let's try to keep race out of it as well.
Yeah.
I
see. Yeah. Then maybe it must be a cat then, some kind of cat.
Yeah.
Well, is that racist as well?
Pretty much. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know if there's an answer to that question then.
Yeah, these days everything you say turns out to be racist, doesn't it?
It's just another polar bear.
Yeah, exactly. Now, Davide, we don't know you. We don't know anything about you. Who are you? Why are you here?
What the
Well, thank you for asking. I was wondering the same myself. I'm Davide Montebruno, so I'm that's me. I'm here because I do comedy. right now I'm the narrator with the Scum improvised soap opera show that's taking place at Side Stage. And I'm one of the founders of that group going all the way back to, it must be 15 or 20 years.
Wow.
And so,
that means that he's improvised with friend of the show who doesn't remember us and was on the show but doesn't remember us, Miguel. Miguel Gauthier.
That's right.
Who had a stint at Soap Scum for a while.
Briefly in our improv group, and we remember it very vividly, and he forgot everything that happened during that time.
He's a really talented guy. I really liked working with Miguel.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah.
You have a great narrator voice, Davide, I'll say. Just even from the podcast, I can already tell you were born to do something like that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course. And I put that to use. I'm also a voice actor. So I've done some cartoons, some advertisements, and
very cool.
Even puppetry.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. That's exciting. Okay, so that's your bag. That's who you are.
Yeah. Well, that's from the comedy side. I'm also I have a day job. I'm a science writer at the university. So it's not the opposite of comedy. We're talking about opposites. I live those opposites. Yeah.
So science writers, you write fiction then?
Yes. Mainly. And then I give that to the scientists, and then they decide which ones their lab is going to be announcing. And then once they get their grants, it's up to them to figure out the breakthugh after that. I'm not involved.
Complete bullshit, huh?
I do like that way of doing. That's sort of how I want politics to work.
It is. That's how it works.
Explain your system here, Kevin. Yeah. What do you imagine here?
I imagine sort of people kind of like thinking about what they want the world to be like, and then trying to find their way to it, rather than being very practically minded. And
you
just
idealistic fucking loser.
Yeah. Well, that is sort of how it works, except who gets to choose.
Yeah.
Thomas, you got freezed out for a second there, I think. What did you say?
Oh shit. Well, I was just saying that you're an idealistic loser and hope is for cucks. So
wow. Okay, so so anyway, that's nice. Davide, you gave us a sense of what you're like as a person, that you sort of contain multitudes. You are the opposites. You are the sort of comedian, the jester, and you also play serious man at the university. And in a similar way, like introducing you to Thomas and I, we sort of are opposites. I'm sort of a fat, jolly guy who likes to give to a lot of people and like to provide for many people, and sort of my. I'm interested in sort of spreading joy, and Thomas is sort of a skinny Jew. So
a Santa Claus type and a non-Santa Claus type.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm sort of jolly.
Tim Allen gets bitten by me in the night. And it did sound weird coming out of your mouth, Kevin. It did sound weird.
Yeah, I told you. I fucking told you.
I'm bad, man, and I'm gonna be bad this Monday and next Monday on the podcast because we're recording too. But Kim and I have stomach bugs, and I had a truly harrowing experience last night. I mean, she was up all night yesterday, just puking and being sick to her stomach, and it was horrible. Actually, much worse than what I went through, I think. But then I was working, I'm a therapist. I was working throughout the day and I felt fine, but maybe around 2 p.m., 3 p.m., I started to get this like weird stomach, slight nauseated feeling. And so I was sitting there and kind of like, I don't know, I think I'm okay. But at my 6 p.m., I was like, just so you know, like I might have to pause the session. I'm feeling just a little weird. And they were like, okay, but we got through the session. It was fine. And I was like, okay, I think I'm okay. So I got my stuff. I went on the train, and I was on there's 2 trains to get home. It's a long commute. And of course, after work, it's very crowded, so I couldn't sit down or anything. And I was hoping I could get to the point where I would at least be able to transfer to the other line. But suddenly this just wave of horrible sickness came over me while I'm on a crowded train. There's nowhere to sit down. Every time I tried to sit down, someone would like scoop in and sit before me. And I was like, okay. So the floors on these trains, Davide, I don't know if you've been to Chicago, they're filthy, especially in the winter. So I was very tempted to sit like fully ass down on the floor just to like settle my stomach because this was so awful. And if I had thrown up on the train, I mean, it would have gotten all over a bunch of people. Like, it would have been truly heinous. So although I only had one more stop to get to my transfer, I had to run off early, and they have these little plastic garbage bags for throwing things away, which I managed to make it to. And it was just one of the low points of my life. I dry heaved into this thing twice. It was so painful. Like, it really, really hurt, and nothing came out. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then I started puking for real into this bag, and there's like other people on the platform, and I just look like, I don't know. And I was kind of like, where's the infrastructure for this? There weren't barf bags on the train. Like, people must get sick sometimes in the middle of transit.
Oh, yeah.
Like motion sick, whatever.
When I was in Germany this year, the only seat available was beside a large pile of puke in another seat. So, and it was very interesting to watch people like excitedly walk over to it and then see it and then watch them sort of recoil. So there's no infrastructure. I think they should just have like a puke chute along the side where you can sort of, and then it just goes kind of right onto the tracks.
Yeah, just leave it there, huh? So one of the low points of my life, during my first puke, I called Kim because I was like, I just panicked. I was like, I actually don't know what to do. Because if this continues the way she had described her sickness continuing, like I'm trapped far from home. I can't get in an Uber. I can't get on the train. Like, where do I go? What do I do? I just was like genuinely really scared because I'm just sort of like sick in the middle of the city with no
That's not
clear,
good.
like nice public bathroom or anything nearby. Yeah, and fortunately it just passed, and I did get home, and I haven't puked since.
Yeah,
so I still feel shitty and groggy. I slept like till 5 minutes before the recording today. But I'm very grateful, actually, that it didn't continue to be bad, because I was able to kind of get home and be safe.
Yeah, no
Although
kidding.
Talking about this, I do have my, just in case, a little bowl next to me. And as I'm talking, I'm having a sense memory
on the show.
Yeah, I can taste
Jesus
the puke
Christ.
coming back up in my throat as I talk. So anyway, Kevin, what's up with
A
you?
new low for the show will be if you vomit on air. It will be like
Last week I showed you a video
depths.
of me puking in the sketch show.
Yeah,
And now we're making it come true.
I'm so sorry, Davide.
But you better be careful, because if that becomes part of your comedic persona, then you're going to need to be puking every time you perform.
Yeah,
there was a wrestler.
Keep that up,
there was a wrestler in WWE who got hired because he could puke on command.
That's fucking awesome.
There's a famous video of Vince McMahon excitedly pacing around a boardroom, being like, "He's gonna puke! He's gonna puke!" And he's like screaming it at this guy who's making himself.
Anyone can puke on command. Like, that's what bulimia is. Like, you can just. It's not that hard.
Well, the guy would do it without
no
doing
fingers.
Yeah.
He probably had some like tongue technique to trigger the gag reflex, but also, like, would he do it in moments of triumph or moments of defeat? Like, you punch him in the stomach and he throws up on you.
I mean, it was just kind of like in that weird 90s era where it was like a disgusting carnival show. So like, it was just like, because that guy ended up having like a really sad life, I think, and getting taken advantage of by the WWE in a horrible way. And then
no way.
Really?
Yeah, I know.
Such a promising beginning, though. He must have thought, these people are really going to take care of me.
A fall from grace.
Yeah, I had it all, kid, and then looking at this TV. He's gonna puke.
You probably think you've got it made.
It wasn't really me they saw. It was the puke.
Yeah, I think his name was Droz.
That's fucking
what's new
awesome,
with me?
honestly. I love that. I think puke is an underused comedy thing. It's so funny.
One of the most memorable bits Thomas and I ever did is that we hosted a night of scenes. We were in university and theater school together. We hosted a night of scenes, and because like we were sort of a known as like a bit of a comedy duo at that point, because we were like doing stuff together and goofing off a lot, and some
now
teachers
we're
thought
just
we
a
were
duo.
homosexuals. Yeah.
Back then, the comedy prefix was applied, but now it's just, those are two guys.
Those are two guys. Despite our best efforts,
they know
we
each
sort of
other.
shed
duo.
They know each other. But at the time, we got asked to host the show, so we hosted it and we came out, and I think we did comedy rap together, so we did like a rap recap of like the year, and then like we would do these bits between the scenes, and then the very last bit before we sent the audience home, we came out to like music, and we're like doing a big like trying to act like everything was nice, but we then proceeded to throw up all over the stage, and screamed at them to get out of the theater and that they had to leave. And that's like one of the first things I remember really doing with you on stage, is holding a lot of oatmeal in my mouth and then spewing it everywhere. So puke not maybe underutilized in our show or in our lives. It doesn't matter. My check-in was going to be about do you guys know the movie Hidalgo?
Oh yeah.
I've seen the posters.
Yeah, so Hidalgo came out. That's right. There's this weird trend in Kara and I's relationship where Kara will get excited about a movie, and then we will expose that it has like sort of a problematic history, like a movie from her past that is like nostalgic. So like we look it up, and so the story of Hidalgo is
attached to Hidalgo. That's fucking such a weird pull. I love that.
Well, the thing is about Hidalgo is the movie's marketed as it's based on a true story. But it's not. It's not based on a true story.
What?
It's based on hard to believe, but that back in the days of the Old West, that a man took a Mustang horse from the Americas across the ocean to the Arab nations to then run a 1,000-mile race across the through Syria and Iran, and it's called the Lake of Fire or something they call the race, and there's they all try to kill each other, and it's this insane thing because the winner gets a purse of and it's a race that's been going on for thousands of years. So cool. There's this American. What happened was that the story is also got a lot of the movie's problematic as hell because it starts with the Wounded Knee massacre, and the character is supposed to be part indigenous, part of the Lakota tribe, but it's played by Viggo Mortensen. So, but part of the character's thing is that he's half white or white passing, but he's got this anyway. The reason why they think it's based on a true story is that the main character in Hidalgo, who's not Hidalgo, it's the owner of Hidalgo's rider. I can't remember his name right now, but that doesn't matter, Frank Willis or something. This guy is a real figure in history who would I think he was a carny or he worked in bars, and he would he was just an old West guy who would say I did this and I was the best Rough Rider and Wild Bill's Crusade, and he was just this guy who is famously a bullshitter. There are accounts in history of all of his stories being untrue, and so historians have interrogated this Hidalgo story and been yeah, none of this is real. There was no race like this. Nice. This didn't happen. That didn't happen, and the writer who came out and was just I just told a cool story. I don't, which I think is fair and actually fine, except that they said it was based on a true story. I feel the crux of the issue is that they said based on a true story.
Yeah, it is true. It is true that it was a story.
Yes,
right.
That's so important.
Based on a true story that was made up. Just leave that tail of the sentence off.
True.
I mean,
true.
I think that era was kind of famous for horror movies that are inspired by real events, and you'd be I don't think any of this happened. The Blair Witch
Project.
Or they would just be because someone went missing in a town, they would write a whole movie about a poltergeist and be this is actually true. But Fargo famously starts with this is based on a true story as just a full fabrication. And basically the Coens were well, we just think people will take it more seriously if we say that, so why not just say it? Who cares? And now it's kind of an inside joke, but at the time they were fuck it, we can say whatever we want.
Yeah.
We'll just pretend this happened.
I mean, I guess that's actually probably, I actually don't really have that much of an issue with it in that way, except for the fact that the story presented in Hidalgo has some problematic, it's pretty racist how it depicts the Arab nations and the residents of it. And there's I think who the fuck was it? I think it was Omar Sharif is playing is playing is it Omar Sharif? Yeah, he plays the head who the head of I guess the king of Iran or something like that and there's just there's a lot of They depict the Wounded Knee massacre in a very weird way. It's someone's gun accidentally went off, so then they killed everybody.
Oh my god! It's one battle after another.
How do we simplify this to its most basic element? A gun went off.
Yeah, somehow. No one was culpable for this massacre.
Oops, all massacres.
Now,
so yeah,
there were so many horse movies back then too. I feel they all have
Seabiscuit,
Black Beauty,
Black Beauty.
But we gotta do a segment, Kevin. I need to get the wheel spinning, and it's time to spin that thing. And here we go.
What do we got?
Didn't hear the spinning wheel if you were playing it, but that's fine.
I was. That's weird.
We got worst jobs. Participants must discuss the worst jobs they have ever had.
Worst jobs. Any really bad jobs, Davide?
Worst jobs? Yeah, well, I've done some very unusual things for work over my life. Okay. So It's hard to think of, what's a criteria for worst, right? Like, is it that it causes pain or harm, or that it's just some awful drudgery?
I imagine you having like a Jeopardy style category for any of these, and you have jobs underneath each. Causes pain and harm. Well, I've got a list I could choose.
Yeah,
from.
I could go with a list there. I think for me, probably my worst job is in a certain way, my best job ever was making toast. I was a breakfast cook, and for about a year, I was the toast guy at the original pancake house. So there was a lot of toast. This was back before the price of bread went crazy. They were giving out toast for free with every order.
Right.
So I'd just be like dealing a deck of cards in this big industrial toaster.
And isn't it the conveyor belt style toaster?
Yeah, and so for 8 hours a day, nothing but feeding bread in and buttering the bread as it comes out. And the only time someone would talk to you is if you'd put too much butter or not enough butter. And so in a way, it was kind of torturous because
so when you get lonely, you'd kind of get a little bit extra on the scraper. And so just so that someone would acknowledge your existence.
just to get that human, you'd leave a little gob on there, and then they'd say, "What's with this butter?"
Yeah.
Oh,
admonishment is a form of intimacy. Yeah.
But in another way, though, it was almost like going to sleep. It was so mundane, and my brain would shut off, and it would be like I'd walk into work, and then I'd wake up, and I'd be leaving. I'm watching that show Severance right now. It was exactly that feeling. Like it was like waking up again at the end of the day. So in a way, it was both the worst and the best. I've never recaptured that feeling.
Yeah.
You're a Barnaby the Scrivener of toast, sort of, to reference who is that? Who is Barnaby? Is
Herman
it Barnaby?
I don't know.
Is the author.
Is that
I don't know.
Herman Melville.
I'm not sure what you meant, though. Could you explain?
Uh-oh.
Well,
Davide, are you gone?
Sort of
Where did you go?
No, I'm back.
Okay.
It's just the screen went all black. It's still all black, but that's fine.
Yeah, I was with the toast for a moment.
Speaking of bad jobs, you got a job emergency.
Yeah. We're back. We interrupted the show for a technical emergency and a mechanical emergency because my job is currently the worst job I have. No, I'm just kidding. I own a couple restaurants and it's actually pretty all right. But the first thing that came into my mind, and this might not be accurate to what is really, truly the worst job I've ever had, was I used to work at an ice cream shop. Actually, Thomas ended up working for the same ice cream chain not that long after I did. But I worked for a shop called Marble Slab Ice Cream, which you go in there. And I worked in the first one that opened in Winnipeg. And back then, Marble Slab's business model was fucked. So you'd go in, you'd pick one of like 20 flavors of ice cream that they made in-house, by the way, and then you'd take it and you'd put it on their marble slab that was cooled, and people would select mix-ins to put in. But at Marble Slab, there was a base price that included, I think, 2 mix-ins, and then after that, every additional mix-in cost money, and it cost like 75 cents or something like that. So what invariably would happen is people would get excited about the concept, and then they would end up with like a $12 cone of ice cream, and they would be upset because they were like, this is ridiculous. And it was just like it wasn't conducive to a good customer experience. And so we were very busy when we first opened because the concept was novel and exciting. And I had to deal with a lot of very frustrated people. The worst part about the job was that my bosses, who were a little crazy, forced me into a relationship sort of with another coworker because they were sort of like shipping us. Yeah. And like the coworker had like a big crush on me. Pardon? Well, this is legit. Yeah, like so I was working there. There was a girl that was working with me who had a crush on me that I wasn't that interested in. And they would schedule us together all the time. They would and they had like a weird social, like too close relationship with their staff, so they would like bring us out like they go to restaurants with us. They would and so they were just like constantly, and like literally, she was just like, "What do you think about Kevin? What do you think about Kelsey?" to me, and like things like that. And it was really not. And I was like 16, so I was 16, single, impressionable. And we dated for a while, and it was incredibly toxic. It was like not a good relationship. She was nuts, and I was a stupid 16-year-old who didn't want to be in that relationship, but was trying to, and it was bad. And that was not a
like mixing you two in together into the ice cream.
Yeah, and there were extra charges accrued because of it.
When I worked at Marble Slab, the thing
wait a minute. No, not legal charges. No.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why it's so important that you tell everyone she was crazy. Anyway.
Yeah.
I would find people would want to get an ice cream without mix-ins, and there was no like discount for that, so they would spend like $6-7 on just like a plain vanilla cone, and they'd be like, "Why is this so expensive?" And it was like, "Well, that's just the concept.
That's what
you don't
this
have like
is.
a cheap basic option. You have to get stuff in there."
That is the classic Winnipeg too, though. They're just like, well, why isn't there a version that's just nothing? Why can't I have the cheap one?
Why can't I have the most plain, simple thing ever?
Yeah.
My worst job, I don't know. I mean, I worked at Boston Pizza when I was a teenager. That job did suck, and I would say, not exactly sexually harassed, but it was like a hypersexual environment as a teenager. All the like servers and stuff would like slap your ass really hard and just like make weird comments and stuff because they had that like toxic restaurant kitchen culture thing there. But the job I'm thinking of, I worked at this. The job itself was fine, but I just hated the company. It was this like digital marketing agency that I worked for as an intern in LA. And it just like looking back, it's like we were promoting the biggest shitheads of all time, just like these tech entrepreneurs, and like trying to like glorify their genius and make these like YouTube videos to promote like you could actually use this illegal technique to get more clicks on your LinkedIn, and it's like technically allowed for the next month. So you want to use this now to get good following for your business. And I learned about all those bullshit advertising terms like top of funnel and all that stuff. And I just like, everyone there was super sweet. It was like a nice environment, but there was just something sinister and evil about that place that I remember and needed to get away from.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. That doesn't sound good. Did the other job that resonated for me when we talked about this just now, and it just pinged in my head, was I was like outsourced by a company to go to different locations that like Rogers stores, like the telecom company Rogers here. Like they have like brick and mortar locations that you can go to buy a new phone, get like look at your plan. The thing is, people don't realize this. Those stores aren't owned by Rogers. They're owned by different companies that are then like licensed to Rogers. So Rogers, like corporate, has to hire another company of experiential marketing people who go out and do like on-site activations where you go to a store and you see, hey, you want to play our stupid game? Those types of people. And I used to do that because I used to date a girl who would program those things, and I was outgoing. So I would do that. And she, the job I got connected with through these companies was that I would go to every Rogers store and I would make sure that their displays were set up the way Rogers corporate wanted them set up. So it was boring as fuck, but the job, the contract that I ended up with was like the rural Manitoban contract, and so I had to drive to all of these locations that were like, there was like one in Dauphin, Manitoba, which is like 2 hours away from the city, and then there was like one in Brandon or two in Brandon that I had to swing by, and then I had to go to fucking Thompson, Manitoba, and then I had to go to the Paw, and so it was like these like we're talking like 6-7 hour drives now, we're talking, and I was somewhat compensated for some of these things, but not enough. And I had to like stay in a hotel out in, I think it was Thompson or the Paw. I can't remember which one. I think it was Thompson, because then the roads were closed to the Paw. I couldn't get to the Paw, and I was like, and they were like, you have to go to the Paw, and I was like, I can't. It's not possible. And they're like, you have to go there. I was like, I actually don't. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. Fuck this contract. Fuck this stupid job. And I quit. I stayed a night in Thompson, in this this motel that was real sketchy. And the people there all seemed very nice, but the motel itself was just like really not. I slept on top of the covers. I was like, I just didn't. Like they put me in the, just the worst situations, because they don't. The guy who was like managing it was like some fucking middle manager guy from like Ottawa, who was just like sitting in an office, and he's like, well, why can't you just go here? And I'm like, you don't understand. The roads are closed. Anyway, fuck that job.
It's such a weird.
That is weird.
Yeah, I feel like your whole career history is very eclectic, Kevin. You've jumped around from so many different kinds of things.
I'm a hustler, homie.
Yeah. You gotta keep hustling. You gotta keep chasing that nut. That's what they say now, right? You gotta get your nut.
That is what they say.
I've been chasing that nut.
Hi, Jay.
Hey, Caitlin. We're the co-hosts of a little podcast called Gimme That D.
Did that get your attention?
It's a Disney Channel original movie breakdown podcast.
We are breaking down all of your favorite childhood movies that aired on the Disney Channel from 96 to 06, the golden age of cinema.
Duh. We are two F-list comedians with a lot of A-list comedian friends, and together we break down and celebrate these absolutely batshit crazy films.
So we're talking aloof parents,
inexplicable plots,
bold cuts responsible for sexual awakenings the world over.
And we ask the hard-hitting journalistic questions like, what the fuck is this?
And could we have maybe taken a second pass at that script?
But we love them.
Oh, God, yes.
So listen to us wherever you get your podcasts.
To stay in the know of what movie we're covering each week and who our guest is, follow us on Instagram at GMTDpod.
Yeah, but for real, do it.
Well, I've got one thing I want you to do for me, okay? And that's going to be right back over here.
Oh, no. I've been waiting there. Okay, I guess.
Okay.
You want
a little coffee or what? Huh?
Oh, God.
Huh?
I think I'll be good. Some more?
Huh? Try not to get it on the rust of my table here.
I won't
Huh?
do that.
Can you do that? Huh? You going to get sick?
That's a possibility.
Huh? Oh. Huh? Oh, my God. He's gonna puke! He's gonna puke! He's gonna puke! He's gonna puke! He's gonna puke!
That's it. Oh,
That wasn't.
Not much puke.
That
really
wasn't
in
a puke.
video. That was more like just a loogie.
It was
What the
expectorant.
fuck?
Phlegm.
It's
Shim
more
sham.
exciting how McMahon reacts than even what happens. Yeah. Not even that is real in wrestling.
Yeah, not even that.
Davide, do you have a segment for us?
Well, yeah, I'm inspired by all of this. I thought we might play the Advertisement Game, which is a game where you make up an advertisement for a fake product or service.
Now,
I love it.
I'm curious, this might be the first time this has happened in podcast history. Is this the exact segment that Corey also had us do one
Is
week
it?
ago?
I don't know.
We
don't
did play the
know.
advertising game with Corey.
You're joking.
Every idea has to be yes.
Oh, that's it.
Oh.
This is...
Kevin already
He did, to be fair to Corey, he did do two.
Well, I wasn't... you were there. I wasn't there.
For Kevin,
And-
every
I
day
don't
is a
remember.
every morning is a whole new day, man.
But
I hit the hard reset button on the inside of my G-spot.
we
when
can
I,
do it. Hey, fuck it.
What?
I mean, why not?
Yeah, let's do it. I don't want to. Let's try it. It's different. I know we've done repeat segments on the show. I don't know if we've done them back to back, but yeah. I also don't care, and it was successful last week, so let's try it again.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, so should I start the advertisement?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Let's try it that
talk
way.
us through your version of this, what you imagine us doing together.
How you envision it going.
Well, yeah, you could do this in a few ways where you come up with the ideas in advance, but I thought just go right into it. Just start the advertisement. Right, you take turns adding a new power statement to the product that you're trying to sell, and it's going to tell us something about the product. And then, just like you said, each statement should be bigger and bigger and bigger until the people just don't have a choice but to buy that product.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I like it.
Yeah. So all we need is something to advertise. I was thinking, what about segments?
Segments themselves.
Yeah, the segments themselves.
Segments themselves.
We'll see what we do with that.
That's right. Yeah. Well, segments are a top of the funnel idea that's just come out where each person gets a unique experience which they've never had before, and it drills them deeper and deeper into the true impact of their soul. Without segments, you're an empty husk. With segments, your life has meaning.
Yes.
Right. If you're breaking things down, if you're breaking life down into something, what better than segments? You might go through an emo phase. Emo segment of your life. You might experience a romance that is a fling, that is exciting and hot for a summer, but fades quickly, much like the weather. That's a segment. The seasons are segments. The days of the week, segments. So segment your life, compartmentalize your mentality, and you'll operate at such a higher level that once you see the segments, it's like seeing the codes in the Matrix. You're breaking through. And that's what's important.
Let's talk a little about human psychology. Now, imagine if we took in stimuli, each individually, all at the same time. Looking at a sunset would destroy your ability to comprehend the world. The stimulus would be so great, you would not be able to comprehend it. What our brains do naturally is they break this experience down into understandable segments. Each stimuli that we encounter in our lives is turned into a segment that we can more easily digest, take in, and experience the world in each other. That's where stereotypes come from, but the good kind, not the bad kind. That's where we use our rules of thumb to better comprehend the infinite complexity of the universe. It's all segments.
That's right. Yeah, and segments allow us to link ourselves to that universe. Because everything in the universe is segments, and because everything in our lives can be seen as a series of segments, it makes us part of that universe. And by putting those segments in our minds, we become part of the greater scheme of the segment. A Big Bang, one segment, the end of the universe, another segment, and everything in between, segment infinitum.
Imagine for a second that you're down on your luck, that you're kind of needing some cash, and you have a sensation, a familiar sensation, a biological sensation, a calling of nature, if you will. And you go to the washroom. And when you go to the washroom, as you begin to release the fluid from inside of you, you hear a clatter, a clang, the tingle of metal on porcelain. You look down and you realize, oh my God, a centipede. What is a centipede made of? Segments. That's correct. It's ideal in a universe where you might be able to, if you can get so segmented that you are a centipede, then you will pee out cents. And that is how you transition this concept of segmenting into cold, hard cash. Because you're peeing the smallest segment out of money you can, a cent. 100 cents, you got yourself $1.
The dollar makes the world go round. You got a bunch of centipedes, and now you got $1. And segmapede is another way to say that. It sort of combines the two. And there's bugs coming out of your pee hole now. And
What?
That's what you fucking said. I'm just repeating what you
You don't
said.
need to worry. Don't fear. It's just a segment, and it too will pass. And soon a new segment will begin, and a new life unto you.
Yes. If times are tough now, it's just a segment. And if you're not
times are
enjoying
good,
this show,
It's just a segment.
just a segment.
Man. It'll be
Just
over
a segment,
soon.
man.
it's just a segment.
We should
Honestly,
have them on as a guest.
To be honest, I haven't listened to the show.
That's a sample from Segments, the podcast.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
That
which
is a
has
show
ended.
that somebody stole from us,
What?
and then they failed. Somebody
Oh.
stole segments from us. Our heroes stole segments from us.
But
Sorry
you
for
outlived them.
saying we were going to steal, then actually stealing. Joking steal becomes real steal. That's my bad.
So comedians Jake and Amir listened to our pitch for us podcast called Oops All Segments, and they joked on the show, we should take that idea. And then they ended their podcast, and about 6 months later, they launched a new podcast called Segments. So they actually took the idea, which is fine, but they never credited us. They never went on our show. They seem to have
They
disbanded,
fired our
head down, and
friends.
fired a bunch of people. So I don't know. Not great.
Oops, all segments.
Anyway, Davide, that was great. That was great.
Great.
That was a fun
Oh.
segment. I loved
Way
selling
better than
segments.
with Corey. Way
Yeah.
better than with Corey.
Yeah, way better than with Corey. Thomas, should we do a rapid fire seg?
Do one quick seg to wrap it up. We do got to go soon, but we'll spin the wheel.
Bam!
Hungry hypocrites. Participants must discuss ways that their actions and values do not align.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. Does anything spring to mind for you right away, Davide?
Where my actions and values don't align? Well, sure. I mean, it all comes down to the almighty dollar, doesn't it?
Yes.
You've got. We were saying you've got to make that nut, and that's just. It's not what I'm about. I personally, I could go without the nut. I could be nut free for the rest of my life. But then
kudos
you
to
die.
you.
That's
You're a
a
stronger man
short
than I am.
segment. It's a short segment, is
It's
what
a short
it is.
segment. You're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
you don't eat and then you die. So
Keeps the
you know,
world going around.
I think in a way it's all a kind of a contradiction. You pay your taxes, and then what does that government do? It does things you don't want them to do, but that's your money. That's your vote. You voted for it. You paid for it.
Yep.
You're holding the
Understood.
bag.
I understand. I think that I try really hard to hide behind the shield of hypocrisy, because I think it's kind of like when you'd you'd be in high school and there would be like somebody who was like, he's an asshole, but he knows he's an asshole, so it's okay. Like that was like a thing, right? That was like, you're allowed to be a jerk to people if you were aware that you were a jerk. And I feel like now we're not in a part in society where that's like passable anymore. But I do think that the new version, and I subscribe to the things you're talking about here, Davide, like in the sense that I feel very much like a living contradiction, a walking hypocrite. And I'm a socialist who owns 2 restaurants, who employs people and exploits their labor, and does stuff like this in his downtime when he can. Presumably, I mean, of course, I'm sure some of them also feel like, I try hard to do my best to keep my employees happy and try to balance the scales as best I can. But at its core, there is always a sense of I don't feel like it's fair the way things are set up in those ways. I'm not the only decision maker in the business, which is part of the reasons why it's set up like that. But I argue that even if I was, I'm not entirely sure how much I'd be able to bend a bracket towards a more collectivist structure. Maybe I would, but I don't know. But that's a real like thing I'm faced with on a regular basis. And sometimes I feel like morally, I'm kind of just using it as using the fact that I say that as a bit of a shield. It's like, well, I know it. I am aware of it, and so it's good. So I'm allowed to do it. But does that make me any different than the guy who owns the restaurant, who I know who is exploitative of his staff? Maybe. I'm not sure. I hope so. I hope so, but I don't know. This is a serious quandary. It's a real ethical dilemma. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess doing the show while I feel sick feels like a difference between my values and my actions. But the thought I had was about I fucking love fast food. I'm a big supporter of fast food, and those restaurants are so evil in so many ways. They support terrible things. They often exploit their workers, as Kevin mentioned. There's also a lot of like animal ethics that does bother me morally, but that I just kind of ignore. And I think like the way that I consume animal products and just like the cheap, I love a deal. So I'll be almost more excited about something being cheap and easily accessible than it being ethical or morally good. And even though I feel guilt about those things, I can't help myself. I want to try the new Taco Bell bullshit. I want to get the Wendy's 5 for $5 biggie bag. You know, I love the stuff. It makes me happy, and I don't think I'll ever give it up.
Yeah.
Why is it that Wendy's doesn't have a 5 for $5 Tupac bag as well?
Yeah, it's sort of they pick which rappers they want to represent.
It's like Coke and Pepsi. You can only choose the one.
Yeah,
that's right.
Right, Santa
Tupac
and Jew.
Yeah, you've got to be on. Or you go south. You go Atlanta, Outcast, Dungeon Family all the way, and then you can have a little bit of each sometimes.
I hate to, dude, I was not expecting your ass to throw out Dungeon Family references.
Oh.
I'm sorry to put you in a box, Davide. You're dropping Dungeon Family. Thomas doesn't know who the fucking Dungeon Family are.
Killer Mike, Andre Benjamin, Big Boy. You like Big Boy?
I like Big Boy. I like
You like Mike. Big Boy? Oh, yeah. The best.
Didn't you see Run the Jewels, Thomas? Didn't you get to see Run the Jewels?
I did see them. It was not a good concert, which was really sad because I love them, but the acoustics were not great in that venue, so it felt like they were shouting. There wasn't a lot of flow in the rap.
Oh, that's too bad.
But we do have to wrap up.
We do.
Davide, thank you so much for coming on. You were going to plug some things at the end of the show.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us what those are. Point the people to them.
Absolutely, yes. Please come out to Soap Scum, improvised soap opera. Every week it's a new story, but it continues. So if you come back, you get rewarded that way. Our next episode is February 9th. Hold on. Yeah, is that right? I don't remember.
I think that's what you said before the show started.
That's what I said before the show.
We'll have the links to it in the description.
Yeah, you got to come out. You got to check it out. If you haven't been before, you got to experience it to know it. And if you haven't, if you have been before, come back because it keeps growing, it keeps evolving, and it's always something new.
That's right. A serialized improv show is something that's always been very inspiring and fun to me. Soap Scum, and Davide was probably part of it. One of the first improv shows I regularly went to see and was inspired to. It was how one of the things that caused me to get the gang together and get Thomas and I to get Club Soda riled up. So,
no kidding.
Yeah. Speaking, I guess I won't plug Club Soda show because it will have just happened the night before this comes out on the February 1st. But I'll be performing in 2 shows on Valentine's Day. I'll be performing in Love is Blank at 7 p.m. on February 14th, as well as Yours Truly at 9 p.m., both at the Gas Station Arts Center. You can get tickets to those at theimprovco.com, theimprovco.com. The first one is sort of like a little bit more of an early evening one, so it's not fully family friendly, but it's like a Love is Blind improvised situation. And then the second one is a little bit more spicy. We're doing like love letters as inspiration for the scenes and stuff like that. And so come on out, take a look at that show in Winnipeg. Follow our other podcast, What We Do in the Basement. It's a Let's Play D&D show where I DM the show, and we've had 80 plus episodes so far. And I promise the listeners this fucking holiday episode is going to come out before Valentine's Day. Yeah, like last year. God, I'm bad at editing it. Thomas, what do you got to plug, my man?
Oh, just check me out in Trigger Happy Motorcycle Rocketship sketch show. Other things, but for now, that's plenty. Thank you so much for listening. Davide, you are my friend.
Oh, yes. That's wonderful. I'm really glad to hear that. You guys are my friends too now, having just met you.
Don't rope me into this shit.